And we are back. And if you're joining us right now, we're getting our second conversation for this morning started. And right now we're going to be shifting gears from politics, and we're going to be talking all about recruitment for Belizeans that's going on at Acadia University in Canada. And from Acadia University, we've got joining us for this conversation Tony Adey, joining us via Zoom. Good morning, Tony.
Hello, good morning to everyone down there in beautiful Belize. I'm certainly missing my trips to Belize this year with the COVID-19 pandemic happening. Hope everyone's doing well down there.
Yeah, we are, and we hope that you're doing well up there too. So why don't we just start by, for some of our viewers who may be unfamiliar or maybe need a refresher, talking just a little bit about Acadia University, what it is, what it's all about, and so if anybody's never heard of it, Tony, you can take it from there and describe what the university is.
Sure, yeah, awesome. So first of all, I guess I'll just jump in by talking a little bit about myself.
Sure.
I've got about 15 years experience traveling to Belize and working with Belizean youth and helping them make their pathway to study in Canada. So I joined Acadia University in 2019. Prior to that, I worked for another Canadian university. But Acadia University, in particular, for me, is a really great fit for Belizean youth. And that's one of the reasons why I've been bringing Acadia so strongly to Belize. We've opened an office in Belize for admissions purposes, for example. But Acadia itself, for those students that aren't aware of Acadia or have not heard of it before, we've got a long and very storied history in Canada. We were opened in 1838, which is about 183 years ago. So we're one of Canada's oldest universities. But some of our claims to fame, of course, is that we're ranked top 3 undergraduate university across the country, but we're also ranked the #1 undergraduate university in the province of Nova Scotia. So Acadia itself has a very long history. We've been known to make many successful individuals that have gone on to become members of parliament, almost became a prime minister last year, for example. So we're a fantastic university with about 200 different program options for students to choose from. So lots and lots to offer students. Population-wise, we have about 4,000 students studying at Acadia, and about 550 of those are international students from all around the world as well. So we're also quite a diverse university as well.
Yeah. Now, you said that you've been regularly coming to Belize, and you feel that that Acadia University is a great fit. Why is that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So out on the east coast of Canada, for folks who haven't been to Canada before, we're quite, our culture is very similar to what you would experience in Belize. People know each other by name, people look out for each other, those sorts of things. So what I find often when I travel to Belize is that I feel like I'm at home. So I normally go to Belize 2 or 3 times a year, of course, before the pandemic hit. And I find that I'm quite at home in Belize. And then on the contrary to that, when our Belizean youth come to study in Eastern Canada, they feel very much the same when they come here as well. You know, Eastern Canada is the type of place where if you're traveling, if you walk to the grocery store to get some groceries and the rain starts, a Canadian might pull over and offer you a ride back to the residence on campus so you don't get wet when you're raining, those sorts of things, for example. So it's a friendly sort of culture where everyone looks out to each other. And I think that that's very much something that translates from both Belize, but also over to Eastern Canada as well.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about some of the academic programs that you offer and that you may be known for?
Yeah, so we have 4 different faculties at Acadia. So we have our Faculty of Pure and Applied Science. And Pure and Applied Science, of course, would house programs such as your pure sciences like physics, biology, chemistry, those sorts of things. We also have a Faculty of Arts, which is sort of the foundational base of Acadia's founding in 1838. We have our Faculty of Professional Studies, where you'll find programs like engineering, kinesiology, community development, those sorts of things. And then our 4th faculty is our Faculty of Theology. Originally, Acadia was founded by those of the Baptist faith in 1838, and we still do have a non-denominational chapel on campus, and we still do have our founding roots, the Acadia Divinity College, on campus as well. So over 200 different degree combinations that you can choose from, so a wide variety of both majors and minors. So I'm confident that we have the majority of programs that students would be looking for. A really interesting point of Acadia as well is that we do offer students the opportunity to take undergraduate courses in health sciences areas, which can be a catapult to getting those students onto things like medicine, dentistry, ophthalmology, those sorts of things as well.
Yeah. And how many Belizeans have you had at the university so far?
That's a fantastic question. So in my about 15 years traveling to Belize, I've helped over 200 students travel to Canada and study in Canada. Last year was my first sort of foray as an Acadia recruiter into Belize. So we have about 8 Belizeans right now studying at Acadia. We have a number of Belizeans also studying with us as well online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. They weren't able to physically travel to campus. Yeah. And right now we are hosting an event tomorrow night, and we have over 80 Belizeans sign up to participate in that particular event as well. So interest is really, really high, and we want to encourage students to attend the event tomorrow night so that they can learn more about our scholarships and our academic awards and all those sorts of things.
So let's talk about that part, because there can be a lot of interest in wanting to study outside of the country, but it's not always financially feasible. What are the scholarships that are available, and how many people will be able to access them?
Sure. I think it's important to note here sort of a two-pronged approach to this question. So most students might be used to thinking about the United States as a potential educational destination for their post-secondary studies, but Canada is quickly becoming more and more popular as a destination for international students. And there are really 2 reasons for that. One is the cost of study. So on average, Canadian universities cost about $20,000 to $30,000 US dollars, that is, on average to study, both for academics, the tuition, the fees, the housing, all those sorts of things. That is about half the cost of what it costs to study in the United States. Another advantage of studying in Canada is that while you study, you can work. So you can actually work to offset the cost of those post-secondary expenses. But of course, to your first point around tuition and fees, Acadia itself, we offer about $4 million a year in scholarships, and those can both go to Canadian and international students. So I'll give you a quick overview of how much it costs to study at Acadia. So we're about $15,000 US dollars per year for tuition. That's for all of the tuition and fees. And then we're about $8,000 roughly in US dollars for the housing. So it's, about $28,000 US dollars for a full cost of study for a full year. Now, that's without a scholarship or financial aid. So at Acadia, we offer scholarships that range anywhere from 500 US dollars all the way up to about 12,000 US dollars, which is about half the cost of a year of study. And for students who have demonstrated financial need as well, and high grades, we may be able to offset that cost with needs-based bursaries as well. So we have had some students, international students, studying with us at Acadia for, in the 8 to 15,000 US range, all in cost per year as well, which is quite affordable compared to some other universities across North America. And I can assure you, we're actually the most highly ranked university in North America with the lowest cost. So reputable institution with a very affordable cost to study.
And if people are interested in learning more about Acadia and some of these opportunities, where's the best place to find some of that info?
Yeah, so we believe in making this really accessible for Belizean youth. So we've actually opened an office down there in Belize. So our office is managed by M Business Solutions. That's at 10 Taiwan Street in downtown Belize. We have a WhatsApp number. So the number is 670-5706. So contact us on WhatsApp locally, 670-5706. If you prefer to call the traditional landline, you can also call 223-6766 and get more information. So we have an office running in Belize right now where you can get lots of questions. They'll put you in touch with me as well. Tomorrow night, we're actually hosting an event. So it's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Belize time, an event specifically online hosted by yours truly, all about Acadia University, where you can get a lot more information about tuition, scholarships, financial aid, those sorts of things. The registration link is available on the website, or you can also see it on your screen there as well. So head over to Google. It's the easiest way to find us. Google Acadia University Future Students, and you'll also be able to find the registration link as well. But by all means, we encourage lots of Belizean youth to attend tomorrow night. Like I said, we have over 80 students signed up for this event already. So I know there's a lot of interest, and I'm hoping some of your viewers here this morning can join us as well.
And what's happening at the school at this time? Are your campuses open?
That's a great question. So out here in Eastern Canada, we took the COVID-19 pandemic very seriously. So Acadia University is one of the few universities in Canada that actually opened during this pandemic. Our residences are open. We have students living in the residences. We have students taking class right now. We've been fortunate enough through all of our procedures and our protocols and our quarantines that we've had only one positive case at Acadia since the beginning of COVID-19. So both Acadia University and the community of Wolfville, where it's housed, have taken this very, very seriously, and our campus has been very safe throughout all of this. Of course, a lot of faculty and staff are teaching from home. I'm in my home living room right now because we do try to reduce the visits to campus to keep our student population safe.
Yeah. And so for new students who will enroll this year, will they be able to travel to Canada for school to start the semester?
Yeah, so the government of Canada has made significant changes now allowing international students to join. So in the previous September start date, students were not able to cross the border because there was so much uncertainty with the pandemic. Since then, though, since about late November, early December, students with a bona fide reason for entering the country, including full-time study, can receive an exemption to travel to Canada and cross the border into the country. There is a quarantine on arrival, which lasts for 14 days. And then after the student completes their quarantine and, of course, receives a negative COVID-19 test, then they are released into the campus where they can go on with their regular student lives, both in the campus and in the community as well.
What's for people who are watching and they're trying to gauge whether or not Acadia is the right fit for them, what's your most popular program, academic program that people would seek at your university?
We're very well known for our Faculty of Arts, to be honest. That was our founding faculty since the 1800s. So a lot of students do opt to come and study with us in things like folklore, sociology, religious studies, those sorts of things as well. However, a few of our very popular programs, which are often oversubscribed, difficult to get admission to, would be kinesiology. Our engineering program as well is quite popular. And then because of our research focus on the science side, we're quite popular in the sciences as well. Programs in things like agriculture, for example. We're getting into biopharmaceuticals lately, those sorts of things. So really, if I could be honest, our students are across a wide swath of different programs in all different faculties.
And, the acceptance rate. So we talk about affordability, we talk about the fact that you are open and wanting to expand the population of international students, but what about how difficult it is to get accepted to the university?
Sure, we take, because we're a smaller university with just 4,000 students and we're working with about 600 to 800 new registrants each year, we can take a really personalized approach to doing admissions. So that's one of the reasons why we've opened our office down there in Belize. And please, I encourage Belizeans to reach out to our office there to get help. Basically, we would sit down with you and we would have a look at your academic transcript. So before putting a student through the admissions process, we would have some conversations about what the student's academic history is, what the financial need might be, and those sorts of things, so that we can have an honest conversation with the family. That's a big part for us in giving students admission. So in most cases, if we have that discussion and we encourage students to move on with the application, then their application is approved. So our success rate in getting students admitted is actually quite high. It's in the 80% to 90% range, depending on the year. But with that said, our average admission, our sort of overall most popular admissions average for students getting into the university is usually about an 85 to an 87. So students that are entering the university, a large percentage of them are scholarship recipients because our incoming class has very successful and high averages. Now, I should note that Belize is a little bit of an outlier because for admission to Acadia University from Belize, we do require that students have at least 1 year of sixth form. So students have that year of junior college under their belt before they apply to Acadia, and that makes them all the more successful when they come study with us. And then along the same vein, every course that a student studies in sixth form, whether that be at SJCJC or Muffles or Ecumenical, for example, will qualify for transfer credit. So if a student has done an associate's degree in Belize, then when they transfer to us here at Acadia, they may be able to get a year's worth, 2 years, sometimes even 2.5 years worth of academic credit towards their studies. So their degree with us could be even further less than 4 years. So you might be looking at a degree completion of 2 years or 2.5 years as opposed to 4.
Wow, okay. And so what's the application? You have your event tomorrow to kind of help people understand and ask their questions directly. But what's the application period for the upcoming semester?
Great question. So our application deadlines are basically rolling, but March the 1st is our firmest deadline. So you need to apply to the university, submit all of your documentation, and submit your applications for student bursaries and scholarships by March the 1st. After March 1st, we take about 2 weeks to look through our scholarship pool. And then around March the 17th week, we'll take a look at scholarships and make offers on that regard. So March 1st is very, very important. Students that apply after March 1st are still considered for admission, but they will not be considered for financial need. So March 1st is that sort of firm deadline that we're trying to drive home with our Belizean listeners today.
And for those who may be interested, can you talk a little bit about perhaps some of the extracurricular programs or facilities that are available at the university as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of things I'll mention that I think are really important. First of all is a little bit about housing. I strongly encourage students to live in housing. We have capacity for about 1,500 students on campus. Over 90% of our first year students will live in the residences as well as part of their studies with us. And for Belizeans, we'll actually guarantee a first year housing guarantee. So what that means is, as long as you're granted admission to the university and you submit an application for housing, you are guaranteed a room for your first year in residence. So that alleviates any worry for students. So we have a lot of in-housing programming as well with our residence assistants. So we have house competitions and all kinds of fun stuff like that. But outside of class, a couple of things that I'll note. One is that we're very heavy into athletics at Acadia. So we have 11 different varsity teams that participate in Atlantic University sport, both in Atlantic Canada and across the country. But we also have 26 different club level sport as well. So students who may not be operating at the varsity level can participate in things like club football, club soccer, for example, wrestling, all sorts of fun stuff like that. We have our athletics facility on campus. We've got football fields, we've got soccer fields, we've got swimming pools, fitness facilities, so lots of things to stay healthy. But Acadia itself is located in a beautiful community called Wolfville. Wolfville has a population of about 4,500 people. So we're the epitome of a college university town. We've got a lot of cute little shops, restaurants, pubs, those sorts of things. We're also located in a region of Nova Scotia, which is called Annapolis Valley, which is home to, I think, 8 different vineyards and orchards. So we have apple orchards, wine vineyards, all kinds of fun and awesome stuff for students to do in their spare time as well.
And, I guess the major adjustment for people from Belize would be the weather. Tell us about that there.
Yeah, so really interesting. One of the things that sometimes is a little bit confusing for my family in Belize when we think about coming to study in Canada is the weather in Canada. So Canada has a very interesting climate in that we have the major continental temperatures. So that would be central Canada, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Those areas are the areas of Canada where it gets very cold. This week, I think that we're having about minus 30 Celsius, for example. Out on the east coast of Canada, we don't get that cold. So on average in the winter here in the community of Wolfville, the average temperature in the dead of winter, which is February, is usually about +3 to -3. So we hover around the 0 mark. Our climate would be very familiar with what folks might know as the Northeast US. We're just a 45-minute flight from Boston, for example. So we have a very similar climate to the Northeastern US. Flip side to that, in the summer, we can get temperatures in the 40 degrees Celsius range here here in Nova Scotia. So we've got a very maritime climate, very hot, humid summers like you would be used to having in Belize. But then, of course, in the winter, it certainly cools down. We do get some snow here, but not as much snow as you might expect. So up until last week, I could see my lawn, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of snow in the last week, probably about 10 to 20 centimeters, and that'll probably melt in the next couple of weeks. And we'll start to move into spring in March and early April.
Okay. All right. So the event, once again, is tomorrow night. It's virtual.
Yes.
Yeah. And
so tomorrow night, 7 p.m., really encouraging students to make sure they register for the event. You're not able to get into the event unless you register, so that we can send you that registration link.
And it starts at
7 o'clock p.m. Belize time. So that's 9 o'clock p.m. here at Acadia University. And I'll be on the line to join you. And you'll be able to also meet my colleagues down in Belize, Ms. Linda Munoz and her great team, who are ready and willing to help our Belizean students with their application process to Acadia. I should also mention, I forgot to mention this one, our office in Belize can also be a receiving location for all of those documents that you need to send up for admission as well. So no need to be sending documents from Belize up to Canada. Our office in Belize can receive those and make sure those documents are sent up here, making your application process even that much more smoother.
Okay. And of course, I see there too that you'll also provide some guidelines for getting the visa going.
Yeah, so the Canadian visa process will provide some basic advice on that.
Yeah.
But for your viewers here today, the number one step in starting the visa process, of course, is having a letter of admission from a Canadian university. So we'll talk to that, and then we'll talk about the next step after you get that letter of admission to, of course, receive that visa.
All right. Well, Tony, thank you so much for telling us all about what Acadia has to offer. And for students in Belize who are looking for an opportunity to further their education in Canada, I'm sure they're going to benefit from the event tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the time today. I wish I could be physically down there in Belize to see all my friends and family down there. Certainly miss my second home in Belize. Really missing Salbutes, of course.
Oh.
So really hoping that we can all get through this pandemic together, so I can hop on a plane again soon and come down and see my friends and family down there.
All right. Well, thank you and stay safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right.
Yep. And with that, we are going to be taking a short break, and we'll be back right now, so please stay tuned.
You're cordially invited to the Acadia University Virtual Information Session happening on Wednesday, February the 17th at 7 o'clock. During this session, you'll learn everything you need to know about joining the Acadia University family in Canada. You'll learn about scholarship programs ranging from $500 to $60,000 Canadian dollars, guaranteed student housing, admissions procedures, and programs of study, student services, and housing options. Plus, you'll get an overview of the Canadian Study visa regulations. Call our Belize Recruitment Office representatives M Business Solutions in Belize City for more information at 223-6766. Future students could win $5,000 in tuition credits. Acadia University is ranked as the #1 undergraduate university in Nova Scotia and one of the top 3 undergraduate universities in Canada. Acadia University accepts over 100 students from the Caribbean. For more information, give them a call at 223-6766. That's 223-6766.